Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Howe with Summit Business Guides here on Small Business News. It's April 5th, 2024. Got a good one for you today. I am feeling markedly better now, thank goodness, than I have over the last couple, compared to the last few days. Last week or so, that upper respiratory was terrible. So with that, take your vitamins, be healthy. All right, so let's get into some of the things we're going to cover today. The NFIB jobs numbers came out, National Federation of Independent Businesses. Has their numbers. We're going to take a look at that today. I want to spend some time talking just a short minute about some HR programs and what you should be doing as a business leader, as an owner, before implementing certain HR programs. It's just something I want to put in front of you. It's a methodology that all my clients, I recommend they all use. Once you see it, I think you'll enjoy it. I want a follow-up conversation about grants. Yesterday we spoke about, or a few days ago we spoke about some grants, and I found an op-ed for somebody that I thought would be very beneficial for those of you who, worry about taking grants, or not sure if it's worth the effort. Basically, if the juice is worth the squeeze. So we're gonna go through that op-ed. I thought it was pretty telling, and then lastly we're gonna get into. I found a great article on some leadership skills that I'm in 100% in agreement on what the article has to say, and there are skill sets that I work with my clients on specifically. What is going on here? Do I got some more random hair showed up here? The joys, all right, of live broadcast. There we go. That's better. I was all flopping around everywhere. Okay, but anyways, this article was great, and it's all things that I cover with my clients as well. So before we get into that, just a reminder who I am. Again, Summit Business Guides. I'm a business coach. I help small businesses basically grow their businesses faster than they ever thought possible. Again, you can check out more about what I do. Specifically, I use the Pinnacle operating system to help get my teams aligned so that we can work together. You can learn more about what I do at summitbusinessguides.com. So with that, let's get into our first piece here. Got the NFIB jobs report came through. Small business job openings fall to pre-pandemic levels. So for those remember, I know 2019 is a while ago, but for those of us that were here, we basically were involved, trying to find employees was nearly impossible because of the number of job listings. But so people stopped posting job listings. It just wasn't worth it trying to find them. They basically just hope they ran into folks. So with this, NFIB monthly job report shows a general slowdown in employment activity for small businesses in March, with a seasonally adjusted net 11% planning to create new jobs in the next 3 months, down 1 point from February and the lowest since May 2020. Job openings on Main Street are now in line with levels before the pandemic, said NFIB Chief Economist Bill Dunkelberg. Fairly Odd Parents. No, it was Dinkelberg. That was the guy's name. Okay. Even with the slowdown in openings, the small business labor market remains tight, and owners continue to compete to retain and recruit employees. So one thing to keep in mind when this starts happening, if you haven't changed your mindset, you need to, where people are that competition. So that means it's moving back into the labor side of the negotiating table, as in they're going to have more say on where they want to go with their talent or not. So you can see we had people stop hopping jobs. Well, now you're going to have to find ways to entice people to come back into the workforce, and you're going to have to, if you want to retain your folks, because there are going to be some opportunities for the skilled trades. You just need to make sure you're aware of your compensation packages. So work with your HR folks. Make sure you're doing at least every 3 months. You're scanning the market to see what the current wage rates and everything that are out there, so that you can remain competitive. Okay, you don't want to fall behind on this one. Overall, 56% of owners reported hiring or trying to hire in March, unchanged from February. Of those hiring or trying to hire, 86% of owners reported few or no qualified applicants. Let's say that again for emphasis. 86% of owners reported few or no qualified applicants. That's something. All right. Now, 29% of owners reported few qualified applicants for their open positions, and 19% basically were none. Oof, that is just wild. Unchanged from last month, 37% seasonally adjusted of all small business owners reported job openings they could not fill in the current period. 37%. You're looking at 2/5 of your current positions you cannot fill. With that, with my clients, I'm working on them is we're having deep conversations about, okay, if we can't find the people and we're making adjustments, what can we do in our procedures possibly to eliminate, a portion of that work as a whole? Can we contract it out? Is there, again, AI is not the answer to everything, but are there services online or programs that we can look to augment these things? All of my clients, is one of the things I'm talking to them about consistently, is the fact that right now you need to be tearing apart every one of your processes that are currently effective. They're delivering what they're supposed to be. You need to be tearing them apart and look at ways that you can reduce the number of steps, find a way to automate where you can. It has to do with demographics. It's an entire conversation to have on there. But long story short is, as the boomer population is aging out, there are not enough of us left in the workforce to fill those positions. It's just not there. The numbers aren't there. So you're going to have to adapt, or, basically you have to adapt to thrive. That's where we're at currently. All right. Seasonally adjusted, a net 38% reported raising compensation, up 3 points from February's lowest reading since May of 2021. A net 21% plan to raise compensation in the next 3 months, up 2 points from February. And then 31% of owners have job openings for skilled workers. 14% have openings for unskilled labor. All right. Then job openings were the highest in the transportation, construction, and services sector, and the lowest in the finance and wholesale sector. So, that makes sense. One, they're cutting people left and right. There's more and more that they can just automate, and the banks in the finance systems are going to do that. If you don't need to bring in folks for that, why would you pay for it? It just doesn't make sense. Not on when finance is a big portion of your job is just moving stuff around, right? I'm moving imaginary money around. But on this spot here, I just want to go back to this one. This is an important paragraph. 38% reported raising compensation. Wage inflation. I would like to see what the overall percentage is that they raised, because typically this is raises, right? But again, it's not a lot. And then, because this time of year, right? This time of year is when raises are typically going out in industry, right? Everybody's looking at their annual compensation, and you're doing your leveling for people to get their raises and their promotions off their annuals, whenever that looks like. So only 38%. So that means 3/5 of employers didn't raise. They had not done any raises. So it's just something to keep in mind. And the other one is that another 1/5 or 21% plan to raise compensation in the next 3 months. So just keep that in mind. We're at basically, for the full first half of the year in 2024. 60% of basically only 60% of business owners right now actually plan on giving raises. Okay, that is a significant thing just to keep in mind before we go anywhere else. All right. Next up, before we move on to, again, we get into leadership skills stuff. You're going to see what I'm talking about when we look at that article. It's going to be great. I really liked it. I was reading. I was like, it just gives you an overview of, here's the skills you need to go get. But they are important ones to have. Before I move on to the discussion about the grants and the follow up with that op-ed, I just want to take a moment to talk about HR programs. There was a discussion with some clients that I had over the last couple weeks about differing HR programs that they have out there. That they have champions of different areas. The chief culture officer, these other programs or these positions and programs that businesses are implementing. And the question came up is like, how important is it for every business to have somebody whose sole responsibility is managing the culture of the organization? And I basically what I put out, I said, one, there's exactly one chief culture officer in the organization, and that's whoever the owner is. That is whoever that, again, if you're in a publicly traded company, you're going to have your CEO, president, but that is the person who's in charge of the culture. And, when you look at those positions and when you're looking across the board, whatever they happen to be, that is outside of what a typical HR on the administration side is, where you're having to add these additional programs or positions to entice your people to work. The theory that, again, I operate under, and the vast majority of people that I work with, and because we deal with business owners, the best run businesses in the country, they typically don't have chief culture officers. They don't have people that are, or these random programs that are meant to entice people to stay at work. What they do have, though, is an organization where they have good, clear communication. Everyone knows exactly what their job is and what they're supposed to do. All the programs and processes, their work on the worksite operations are completely understood. People are fully trained. They have all the equipment. They make sure that everything that the people need to do, to include education and direction and understanding of their work, is as close to perfect as they can get it. And that there's a constant feedback function in place to where if they need to adjust something, there are methods and procedures in place that they can quickly make that adjustment. So with that, those programs, they're band-aids. When you bring in somebody as a chief culture officer, that is a band-aid because there is something inherently wrong with the way that you have set up your company, the way that you train your people, the way that you equip them, to the point where they're unsatisfied and upset that they're not able to just come in and do their work. So every time that I've had somebody come to me and they've had an issue, an issue with this, and they've mentioned wanting to go this route, I've always said the same thing. You, a business owner, are the chief culture officer. And if your culture sucks, that's your fault. So if you have a business where things are not running smoothly and there's problem, your culture, there's fighting, there's arguing, it's just a toxic environment, as the business owner, that's your fault. And my recommendation is that you get a hold of someone like me as a business coach. You go to Pinnacle Business Guides, you will see the whole listing of us there. Again, feel free to reach out to me, Ryan at summitbusinessguides.com. You can go see it at summitbusinessguides.com and just see what I do. But you've got to if you get your business operations set up correctly, all of these problems that you have tend to take care of themselves through attrition. I've seen it dozens and dozens of times, and within my industry, within my group, we've seen it thousands of times. If you do these things, you immediately improve. There's an immediate uptick in improvement in your organization. So just keep that in mind. So if you're thinking about hiring or somebody that is a chief culture officer, don't. You are, as the business owner, you are ultimately the chief culture officer. So get it figured out. If you don't know how to do it, folks like me are here at summitbusinessguides.com. All right, so let's get to this next spot here, which I was going through, which was this. We talked the other day about grants and loans that are available and how important they are. I found this op-ed and I just thought it was great, very timely, and I just wanted to kind of read through here. This is from qns.com. Op-ed, small business owners require support to navigate the post-pandemic economy. So, real quick, if you're still leaning on the pandemic as a reason that you're having issues with your business, you need to adapt. Get your stuff together, okay? But with this, I understand where they're going at on this. So, June 2022, they opened a restaurant, Bella Lulu's, amidst the aftermath of the pandemic. With my husband leading in the kitchen, I tackled the challenges of running the business. The hurdles were daunting. COVID still loomed. No, it didn't. Prices soared and the market remained unforgiving. FYI, if you're in the restaurant space, the market is always unforgiving. But that's okay. They're relatively new. Yet, driven by our passion and serving community, we refuse to give up. While things are still a bit tough, with the support of others, we found a way to navigate the storm, from grants to networking opportunities. Again, New York City's economic recovery. What I want to get to is All right, in the fall of 2020, when many wondered how we would dig our way out of the mess of the pandemic, 5 borough-wide chambers of commerce came together to launch the Small Business Resource Network. Innovative program offers free one-on-one guidance support help businesses grow and thrive. To date, SBRN has reached close to 50,000 businesses and provided direct support to over 13,000. I will tell you this directly, Chamber of Commerce, this is your job. And I'm glad to see they're doing it. That they're supposed to come up and help these. That's why you pay the dues for that. All right, so funding from the city allows the business support specialists embedded within each of the 5 chambers of commerce to work individually with small business owners. These specialists are experts in helping small businesses access a range of services offered by the city, state, and federal government, as well as the private sector, including grants and loans, connections to legal counsel, business coaching, it's important, and marketing guidance, technology, and more. All right. So it was through, and this is the part I want to get to, it was through the meeting with one of these business support specialists that I began learning about available resources. My specialist from Queens Chamber of Commerce guided me through applications for various grants, and with his help, I secured a $5,000 Citizens United grant, which proved crucial to maintaining stability amidst a slow market period. The support is so important to me. I keep in continuous contact with my specialist and even share his information with other businesses that may be going through tough times. Small business owners truly need this type of support to survive. All right, and that's again to go back where I put in that note about these grants and loans that are available. Long story short is they had a cash flow crunch, right? When people stopped spending for a while there in the restaurants, starting to pick back up again, but it's obviously down. Folks, they just needed help with cash flow, and they may not have been able to secure a line of credit due to the financial situations that are out there. And it's a grant. That money is specifically set aside for this reason. All you have to do is go and apply for the grant and show that you meet the need, and they give you the grant. You just have to follow up with the reporting on this. For those individuals who wonder if the grants are worth the time and energy, if it's worth the money, if it's worth going to they don't want to go to the government per se, whatever your reasons are, get that crap out of your head. If grants are out there and you qualify, you need to go after them. Go after those grants. The money is there specifically to help you. And it gives you a cushion so that way you then can work on your efficiencies and effectiveness within your organization. Okay. But yeah, I thought this was great. Karen Kaye, catering manager of Bella Lulu's, Jamaica market. Oh, I bet you that's good. Oh, I bet you that's really good. Their jerk chicken, I bet you, is just phenomenal. Okay. Anyways, I'm here in Michigan. We don't have a lot of Jamaican restaurants, so I wish we did. Let's get into the last piece here, which is from Forbes. I wanted to take a look at this with you. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger for my old eyes. 5 essential leadership skills to learn in 2024. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. A nice little summary about what I work with and I talk with my clients about the things that we want to work on. Essential leadership skills to learn in 2024. And from Rachel Wells. And this is not solely for the purpose of landing. Promotion and leadership skills can help you thrive in other areas of your life and career, such as being considered for a new job, moving sideways, as opposed to climbing the ladder, starting a business, building anything. These leadership skills are so very important to make sure you stay on top of. If you are not constantly in a state of assessing where you'd like to be versus where you are, doing that delta analysis for where you need to go spend time on your development and training, you are failing at your responsibility in any sort of management leadership position, to include first-time supervisors all the way up to CEOs and board members. You need to be constantly looking at that for feedback, okay? And taking steps to do that. So here's some examples. So here's some things leaders and managers face several challenges in 2024. Leading multi-generational teams with increasingly proportionate numbers of Gen Z and millennial workers. Let me bring this up real quick. There you go. Sorry. I'll tell you, I'm not a big fan of people complaining about Gen Z and millennials, just FYI. These millennials need a lot of love. Gen Z, they just want to come in and work and then leave when it's not time for work. It isn't that challenging. Adjusting to the new normal of the hybrid work model being sensitive to DEI issues, ensuring inclusive. Yep. Upskilling the workforce and adapting to learning and development needs, and then incorporating artificial intelligence into workflows. Yes, artificial intelligence is going to be here, and it's going to continue to be huge. So adaptability. This is the first piece they got in here. To build adaptability. Sorry, I'll get better at my reading here. Let's try again. To build adaptability as a leader or manager, concentrate on cultivating a mindset of continuous learning. Almost like what I just said. It's weird. All right. Try to embrace change and view new market trends or challenges as growth opportunities instead of seeing them as threats. Encourage your team members to do the same. Be agile and resilient. Being agile and resilient will help you easily flex your approach and pivot your strategy. One important way to develop adaptability as a skill. Actually, let me move me real quick. I want to make sure I can. So let's see. Let's go up here. I'm going to get out of your way there. All right. Where was I? Okay. One important way to develop adaptability as a skill is to rethink your attitude towards failure and use setbacks and negative feedback, regardless of the source, to help you grow as a leader. That is 100% correct. Listen, you have got to be at no point should anything you do be basically carved into stone. Learn the phrase, instead of, the best practices. We don't do those with my clients. Best practices don't exist. We have best known practices, right? Because at the end of whenever you're done running a process, the last note is actually, do we need to change anything? There's a spot in every single process for a feedback loop, so we can adjust every single process that we do. Right? You've got to be able to just understand. Just because it was the best known practice yesterday doesn't mean it's going to work today. So you've got to be able to flex and adjust with that, especially with your teams aging as the way they are. All right, emotional intelligence. Right about there. There we go. EQ is another essential skill needed by today's leaders. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs in 2023 highlighted how qualities associated with emotional intelligence, such as curiosity, lifelong learning, motivation, and self-awareness, are highly prized and will be in demand forever. This is particularly because workplace relations in 2024 are so complex that they require much more than raw, hard skills and talent. Now, I'll be clear. I mean, long story short is you need to be fully aware of the mindset of folks, your mindset, what they're going through, and be empathetic to all these things. They still have to do the job. It doesn't free people from not having to produce, but you also need to be aware of where they're currently at and what the levels that these people can produce too, right? And that's where your emotional intelligence comes into play. I have a course which I'm getting ready to launch here in coming weeks, which is Essential Coaching Conversation. It's going to be be available at summitbusinessguys.com. It's a course I've had for 25 years where we specifically go through how to have these conversations and evaluate and have the conversations to help your people perform. And the first third of the book is solely on the course is on how the mind works and how things operate. So stay tuned for that. It's one of my highest attended, most, hold on, let me get this right here. Again, Essential Coaching Conversation, I want to be able to show this to you. It is my highest attended, most in-demand course that I offer. I give it to my clients as part of the package, and then I host it at Chamber of Commerce events all the time. It's in demand, and it's going to be available as an online course here where you'll get the manual. You'll have access to videos of me doing everything here coming up soon. So I'm pretty much done with it, and we'll be able to get into it here. And I'm looking forward to y'all having a chance to see it and check it out. I know you're going to enjoy it. All right, so where was I here? All right. Definitely, again, these definitely things you need to develop. EQ traits such as self-awareness, a growth mindset, attitude of lifelong learning, empathetic, and establishing healthy work relationships through your communication. You got to talk to people and know how to talk to them. All right. It's important. All right. Next, communication. Look at that. Business communication is an all-time low. Research from Tailo, maybe, revealed that approximately 75% of employees see communication skills as the number one essential attribute for leaders. And Grammarly's The State of Business Communication Report shows that poor communication costs U.S. businesses an estimated okay, you can put any number on anything, whatever. Of course, Grammarly is going to say that it's in their best interest. This is why it's essential to focus on communicating effectively through active listening. So the old phrase, active listening, you got two ears, right? One mouth, use them proportionally. But also active listening is you listen to what people say, then restate what they said to ensure you fully understand what they were saying. That's what they mean by active listening. Collaboration tools, and then mindful of your words to empower, motivate, and inspire with confidence. It's just important to understand how to talk to your folks. Spend time on it. Artificial intelligence, for sure. I've already talked about it at length. I think everybody's talked about it at length, but artificial intelligence is coming and is going to basically get rid of and absorb a lot of the lower level jobs. So you are going to be hiring people in rather than at entry level. Your new entry level is going to be what would be in your grade scale. If you got basically your tiers within your job, maybe 1 to 5, you're going to start hiring people in at 4 or 3 and having to start training from there. So that's going to require a lot of communication skills because AI is going to be soaking up these 1 to 2 jobs. Last is going to be change management. I teach courses on this as well. It's something that is very important to me, just because I've seen how much having inappropriate change management ruins faith in leadership. So there's something I've always worked on here. All right, a Gartner study uncovered 73% of employees report moderate to high stress levels as a direct result of changes to their organization, resulting in 5% worse performance than the average employee. So building change management skills such as effective communication, analytical skills, cross-functional collaboration. All right, I'm going to give you the real quick how to look at change management, right? The thing that they miss, and again, if you want to learn more about how I help with change management, obviously check me out, summitbusinessguys.com. What you're looking to do are two things, and I want you to just look at. One is you need to create and cultivate a felt need for change within your organization for what you want to implement the change towards. Shouldn't be too hard, especially if you identified it. But the other spot is having a plan on how to utilize your informal leaders, those people who are not in leadership positions, but you know who they are. Ask a question, ask a question at a meeting and see who everyone turns to look to get their verbal cue on if it's something that is good or bad. You go to a meeting and whoever everybody turns their head to see what they happen to be thinking about, that's the person, that's your informal leader. Learn to leverage them within your change management strategies. You want to talk to them ahead of time. Feel them out for any of the concerns that they have. Those are the people, those individuals are going to be where your change management pivots on. Doesn't matter about you as the leader, you as the boss. Doesn't even matter what the product is. It could be the best thing ever. If that informal leader has not bought in and you have not done your due diligence to bring them on board because you value their opinion, and they don't agree with it because you haven't done your time, it's going to be next to impossible to get that change implemented. Okay, so that's one tip of the change management. Obviously, you need to learn more. Obviously, reach out, Ryan at summitbusinessguys.com. Again, that's it for today. All the things I wanted to cover. Again, please keep in mind, again, the NFIB, those jobs, where it's at. We're still looking for folks. They're not out there. So you need to be looking at your processes and the way that you do your business. As we just mentioned about artificial intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, level 1 and 2 jobs are going away. Sooner you figure that out, a way to get rid of them and automate it, the better. A little bit about HR programs and those band-aids. If you as the business, you as the business owner, you are the chief culture officer. Shouldn't have to hire that out. If there's a problem, if there's a toxic environment in your business, it's your fault. Figure it out. Grants, that was a great little article there. Just talk about if there's grants and you qualify, go after the grant. Go get that money. It's there to help you. somebody somewhere, either in the government or somebody in the community, has said, we want to help you. You just need to do a couple things, and then they'll get you the money. And lastly, we talked about the leadership skills. Again, so very important. Spend those time. Constant lifelong learning is super important. So with that, appreciate you stopping by today. If you found this valuable, go ahead and subscribe. I'm here every day, between 7 and 8 o'clock. It usually about a half hour. Depending on what I've got going on with clients and everything. So with that,